Ebusiafo Ernest Owusu Bempah a Deputy Director of Communication for the New Patriotic Party. Papa yi Oni Kofi Adams NDC abompunimpu ewo studios. The Ocean Ukromasa no wonim sento wosa no wachia nepa. Edi nti na meka sa Dr. Bawumia bold solution a ode kokoto University of Professional Student Association ewa Accra no. Chese NDC for twe no srene abasa se no kura bi anim de de Dr. Bawumia se na adwen na nyansa ka ho bi ane ye but the messa anase ahokyere aye famu ne de wotwe no ho afiri menimu de biarada ene no so kokoda nche no John Dramani Mahama se vice president kasa waye mate na opeso honesty enachi e de ekọ the better future NDC fonti ase no ebi asipen e wo John Dramani Mahama pen so en ade bi a wo ka se obeye president obeye bia na that time no onye opportunity ne den no ye enyo be da na efido to ya no gibre na yenti Ernest Owusu Bempah
eneno ano NDC enkoyi vision na pasca entino they feel intimidated say a new dawn in Ghanaian politics eba Ghana fo nyina de ahosepe Asia sa new dawn a visionary leader or the direction a did or mine echo a new chapter na said the menu Kofi can said the me then say Mahama wadi mate da I be the president I be the driver I be just the another okay you turn driver
and you turn
or drive seat in da and wasan ye mate da Bawumia de wadi mate and was some man kwan na mo metrest here the difference is totally different from that angle you see Didi kai I'm surprised when you have Penny Kofi Adams I'm totally astonished say me hu baby kra me fa de nemfa but ono ankasa bring it to the fore say Bawumia as a leader no what preaching the minds of Ghanaians indeed Bawumia is a visionary leader. Why am I saying that? Because let's assume granted say E-Levy MPP na de buy na leader a transient who say baby the direction at which the purpose of E-Levy no de buy no soon so no be a nyoma bi ho as a leader no or your junior kind say bit much changing a character traits of a leader, great leader biano take the necessary risk in outlining their vision. What you say? Anything no leader John Mahama no. Or no the vision no the baby biano enkoyi. O share on one kasa as a person and in nyoma waye under his tenure. A child clearly say he doesn't know how to manage the affairs of the country. And when you look at the character of great leaders visionary leaders one of the attributes is that they are risk takers. What do you say? So obe jinasi no akase said you about abolish E-Levy. Ghanaians should even know the direction of a new leader and where he's going. Ebio oka bibi fa say you share the way I will see by any or by as a vice president ni nyoma waye and no what they compare the former president nyoma waye and leadership near there President Mills who here John Dramani Mahama be taking over as a vice president. Then someone the two and then this was he's trying to run away from President Kofi Adams. John Mahama clearly made it clear. Atabos we order yi paswa yenyi no kura amfa nkosi no. This was his statement here. And I can read a portion to you.
Here?
Or make his statement
on the floor of parliament.
Not the floor of parliament, the one that he was addressing his own party people about or no vision, any ideas, any odeba. Okay, said he's lucky to serve as a vice president under Mills. But as a leader, he has outlined his vision of making Ghana a better place.
Okay.
This is John Mahama. Kofi Adams was there. He was one of the key year no to said mibusa say na eno no kano na or divert Kofi mibusa na or divert say or running away from Atamils a dead man wo wu a wo ba bedi na de no now will take you as one would have thought say he will say he will continue with the or say he will move and take a new path. New path no dey call dum so no remember so. New path no na o mine economy erani ya mo we nam no man ka dompe no. That's the new path that we are talking about. Enti so Bawumia as a leader was served as a vice president under the former under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now also there is a new chapter. Akufo-Addo's vision or the man who as a vice president the key role I will play. Vice President Ben since the Fourth Republic, and why is so functional and very effective than the Vice President Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. We can compare John Mahama as a Vice President when it comes to corruption. We can compare a sitting president set up an investigative body to investigate John Dramani Mahama at Amels on issues to do with an aeroplane. Yes, one got Atamels set up an investigative committee. Papa Bakwano, a former army officer, or Tuan. These are facts. Can you say that about Dr. Bawumia as a vice president? A sitting president will set up an investigative body against him. Bibi science here. And you compare as we go along. Bawumia making serious statements about his achievement. Boka Mosi Kofi Adam tie kan economy ho asem. Now kan economy now kan the performance of the CDA. No are the economic indicators. Here Bawumia made it clear, and I would like to read the exchange rate. We challenge the NDC on that. Minia, and they say one of the performance of the CD exchange rate. It is interesting to note that between 2013 and 2016, the CD, that is almost time. Kofi Adams more time. The CD depreciated by an average of 17.7%. Okay. Between 2017 to 2020, there was significant decline in the CD depreciation to an average of 7.5%. The average depreciation further declined to 6.8% between 2017 and 2021. However, following 30% depreciation of the CD in 2022, that is the highest. The average CD depreciation between 2017 and 2022 is 10%. So again, notwithstanding the global crisis and all the economic you perform better in terms of managing the CD than the NDC. And I tell Kofi Adams to come. These are the figures. Bawumia is not a better manager of the economy. John Mahama managed a depreciation of 17%, unprecedented in the Fourth Republic, the history of the Fourth Republic. And the figures, the figures don't lie. It's here.
But Owusu,
he has invited.
Jadinia or Dinija or Cranium money free. That may be ya or Cranium money free. I'm on a deba. You know, Nimi say under John Mahama. No, the 4 Ghana cities and a copedo.
You do 4 Ghana.
Under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And he needs about 12 Ghana
then let's
cities.
go back to.
And now,
let's go back to J.Kufuor's era.
Yes, certainly.
Let's go to J.Kufuor's era.
Yes.
And let's see who has messed the city.
Yes,
no. If you want to go there, Kufuor's time, the city was 1 against the dollar.
Yeah.
When NDC took over power, how was the city? It shot up to 5 point something percent.
So I don't to me also say Ghana ni no to about the President Akufo-Addo based on the promise Jomama Mercy our exchange rate was expecting say obekwa koto dollar from 4 Ghana cedis to 12 Ghana cedis.
Yes, and there are indicators unprecedented in the history of Ghana. Global market, world crude oil shot up to 100%. Unprecedented. Let me quote a year about one of the World Bank leaders or say this crisis, a pandemic, global pandemic, this crisis is like no other pandemic in the history of the world. It doesn't know borders and it has no respecter of the person of any phenomenon. But it is more likely to be likened to the Great Depression of 1935.
Okay.
Eti Sabrena ni ewomua the dollar and the cedi after global pandemic air kono. Enye bi ni ne the circumstance within which we find ourselves in. As otiasie the World Container Company omudi container every we are seeing the transport to Nyoma, it shot up to 150%.
Okay.
Within a year, container company omudi container a transport to Nyoma. We are seeing a brand new woman embre papa. Even Domahama, the time that he was a leader and a Ghana economy, running nosedive. The State of the Nation's address. He told the nation, said China, economic situation, of course, for China, and Amasu Ghana. And it was a State of the Nation's address. So is it justified that today he himself went and stood somewhere in the United States and made a statement, the global pandemic has a repercussion in the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian? And then he is the same person empowering Kofi Adams to veteran say Ghana for him to say sebi nyado the ekoso MPP Bawumia and Aba. And even at all, looking at the economic management, despite the crisis, despite the pandemic, despite everything, who are the better managers of the Ghanaian economy? Who check all the indicators? They were running an economy of 3.5 to GDP. The time they left office. Today, as I'm talking to you, economy saying echo to GDP ratio. When you compare, etiminia enyoma ye kika a Kofi Adams kan wansem yamra dum so wansem a ode betu dwa o kan wansem o kra de let me react to certain points that will make it very important because there's a near we are babe interrogate Bawumia's vision and in your modi to gather they compare John Mahama dum so it will be a lie for anybody to tell me sit here and tell me say NDC for the soul who do so. And I'll give you 3 examples. Listen, my brother, it's not just you. These are facts. Go and check. Atuabo gas processing plant. MPP Adnan Bempah who say, as a visionary leader under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who say gas produce to power generation was as low as 98 million cubic feet. And I'm giving you an example. We increased the capacity from 98 million cubic feet to 120 million cubic feet only at Atuabo. When we, yes, you say, sir, a gas flow nearby, they've already signed a contract of Sankofa gas contract. Almost the most expensive gas contract in the world was signed by the NDC under John Mahama ENI Sankofa contract. $10 per MMBTU. Whether we like it or not, as a nation, we have to pay. Akufo-Addo ne Bawumia gas supply. Akufo-Addo ne Bawumia nyansem we have to combine Sankofa time and the Jubilee together. And what we call Sanzule tying all the gas pipeline together to shift power, to shift gas to the main Abuazi power generation for power generation. Let me tell you, give me a simple just 2 minutes. We increase capacity from a combination of all the three to 350 million cubic feet of gas supplied to Abuazi. And then Takrady regulatory and metering station capacity ana efa me chano the engine doom so ejaye no capacity ana efa 109 million scarves
or say almost survey doom so
me say no na me chiro say gas to power generation na me chiro no you increasing capacity in Takrady regulatory and metering station kwan you increasing capacity from 109 under NDC to 405 million scarves
mobile power 2017 na doom so ho
me city na they make sure gas to power generation. So listen very well. From there, Abuazi
mobile power in 2017 na doom so wo ho.
Na doom so e wo ho.
In 2017.
Yes, of course.
Na ye wo ECG timetable ya dey running doom so Ghana.
Minua. Didn't you na me chiro na on person me chiro because asema me kan so me chiro technical processes e di go akwam ma doom so end dey Ghana. And that's 350 million scarves. You increasing that capacity, we were buying like crude $100 million additional to make sure say power your thermal energy your thermal plant no and then you free am the gas supply and the man here increasing capacity. Let me tell you, car power we push gas into car power and we are getting 350 megawatts. East West African gas pipeline was supplying gas to an eastern enclave, and no, you're pushing your pipeline from here to eastern enclave, and no, my almost about 120 million cubic feet of gas. I know, am I almost about 600 megawatts of electricity, and no, any the combination of car power transporting power to the eastern enclave to supply Assαulting and the rest. Any a combination of other sources of interventions and no and a solve do so. Those times you hear a trouble processing plant shut off. When you shut it off, you see that.
Yes.
And I'm saying no.
Near you see the timetable when you run doom so buy.
Minia, you buy no capacity the abe kan ho ama doom so kan doom no. And no na me boss watch the one. Say a timely intervention of increasing gas supply. Gas supply for power generation. What you say? And no, you're one of the major interventions. Makacho Sanzule tying reverse flow from here to Atwabo, from West Africa, from Western region to the Eastern enclaves. I did do Bempah for my supply guy. Say West African gas pipeline shut it. There's gas flow for power generation, and no can be and ama do so consistent maintenance. It can be. And this time your maya make can a key. NDC are buying almost to me anye. Almost contract, one of the major contracts, I did Kotobe Kumba contract. Derek Kofi Adam say, ENI gas contract, the most expensive gas contract in the world was signed by under NDC. Bawumia say, when we push an agenda of going into a new dimension in the energy sector, making sure say solar become one of the major interventions in making sure say we improve the energy sector. Okay. One of the key. And you know, when it comes to box to box, facts to facts, me better me the facts not all. Let Kofi Adams come and tell me say Asem American any other alternative for EB or me Ediaba. And you may catch on say key interventions help in solving do so. Oba Ghana card Asem or can one Asem.
No, I don't want this to shift to this, but let's deal with intra. Listen, because Nyama be there, must be down to the minimum.
Ghana card the old Ghana be in 2009. Ye kosan lie wo krofru minuan mo krofru mo tie me kosan lie say ye ma wo cheti bi say Ghana card o koye ye be ma Ghana card under mills wo be kaya na wo kumase a ye ko di line me ne me maami ko di line say ye kwa register Ghana card under the leadership of the NDC. Obi hu Ghana ni bi betima kire me say ye process Ghana card for obi a e dey bia na be a pilot they always they do piloting no ma for a few people.
Okay,
meba
on my side
meba
me receiving my Ghana card, I think somewhere in 2012. And fortunately for me call me new one with the number na me wo for me old one I think me nyane 2010 or 2012 no. And the same number and the man for new one year me call ekoko ye. And for that one I know say under President Mills no. Yeah, issue Ghana card. That time
never me personally. Okay. I'm using my personal experience.
Okay.
And we're talking about the entire nation.
Okay.
A bold decision. So we're quite was okay. Say issue be how come millions of Ghanaians today come boast of. We're talking about NDC and MPP. Yeah, leadership vision. Even granted, said they even wanted to issue a Ghana card. How many Ghanaians were able to get the card today? Almost about 17 to 19 million Ghanaian population can boast of Ghana card. And Ghana card out in area. There was so much confusion
30 seconds
everywhere in terms of this identity fraud in the system. About Bawumia can once and more under their leadership, ghost names all over the place. I need pay pewene Uganda card kura under the visionary leadership of Bawumia. Team number ubi bia also. I'll bet you anything that you want to do.
Also, Bempah.
Yeah, can leadership ni vision.
Yeah.
There is a total difference in terms of how.
Also, Bempah, Deputy Director of Communication, the NPP, Amanyoku.